Hello everybody and welcome back to another episode of the Norman Network. And today, we are going to be looking at the LEGO Ninjago movie Squid City Chase set. Very good set, and I'm very excited to review it. But first, a quick little housekeeping note. As some of you inclined viewers might have noticed, I have recently surpassed 100 subscribers. Yay, woo, it's super exciting, and yes, the 100 subscriber special will happen soon. I have been working tirelessly on it, working on every little detail, making sure it's going to be just right, and it was taking me a while, so I've decided to just make a little review today, just to tide you over before that comes out, which will hopefully be tomorrow, but no promises. So, let's begin. We'll start with the smallest build in the set, which is actually quite a large build, and it is this little junk boat. That is what they're actually called. I loved this LEGO Ninjago movie line. It's so based on around Hong Kong, and I have been to Hong Kong, and I love Hong Kong dearly. So, I saw a lot of these around. So it was very cool to get like a really good version of one. So it's got a pretty basic boat structure on the bottom, but the top is where it starts to get interesting. You've got a little deck here. It's really only big enough to fit one, maybe two minifigures on it. You've got the front of the boat here, and then there's like a clothes rack on the top area here. I don't really know what that's for, but whatever it is, it's really cool and adds to the overall aesthetic of the build. And then in the back, all of these junk boats have this section here of, it's kind of like an indoors section. On larger ones, there's sleeping areas inside them. This one is mostly used probably just to store fish. It might be a fishing boat or something. And it's got this really nice golden flag on the back. And this is a really, really, really nice build. I had a ton of fun putting this one together. I built this a long time ago, and I still remember building this boat as a very, very good build. It's got a few buckets in the front here, presumably for fish, and it's just an overall really interesting boat design. So, now we move on to the second and most interesting build of this, which is this large squid machine that the Garmadon fish people use. This has a lot of detail, and it is really fun to play with. So I think we'll just start from the bottom and move on our way on up. So on the bottom, you'll notice these orange chain things. They're from Nexo Knights. I've got a few of them, and they really add to this build as kind of like stingers. Each one of them has this little yellow horn piece on the bottom just to give it a little bit of extra detail. It's really fun just kind of raise this up and kind of brush it across terrain as you play. Then it's connected up here in this small apparatus, which is just kind of a cylinder that also twists the legs, which are all independent builds, and they move in different sections, so they move connected directly to the cylinder, and then they also move independently like this. You can see there. So you get a lot of posability out of this set, and this can also spin pretty fast, so if you're really wanting to, you can get this spinning and kind of get the chains moving and swinging along with it. It's really quite fun to play with, and because of its posability, it's really great to kind of set it up in all these different things. Ninjago's great for setting up stuff. Ninjago has always had some of the best LEGO sets. So then, as we move on up, we've got just kind of this cylinder section, and this is where some of the bigger details start piling in here. So we've got a weapon on either side. This is kind of some harpoons or something, and both of these weapons are connected on a ball joint, so you get a ton of posability out of them. And then on this side, you've got some flick fire missiles, which you do not see very often. And it's kind of nostalgic. I remember all the good old Clone Wars days flick fire missiles, which best sets with the flick fire missiles. Never ever worked, but they're still fun to play with. And then when you bring around the back here, it looks almost like the hood of a car, with like the two headlights and the grill and the hood here. But it might be, I don't know. Garmadon might have taken apart some cars to build these, but it's also got these oxygen tanks attached with this detailing is just a sticker. That was kind of difficult to put on. The only problem I have with these is they fall off quite often. As you can see, it's really just connected with one of those pieces and this piece. So I've probably got you've got no chance of trying to like really play with this and handle it without these falling off. And then it's also got these sub propellers on the side that say Jelly Mini Sub along the side. That's on both of them. And if you blow hard enough, they spin, but I don't find many kids going around with these and blowing into all of their toys. It's still a really interesting back section, and it looks really, really nice. It's also probably the best area to kind of hold this while you're playing. It's a really convenient area. And then that also attaches up here to this really large cylinder piece, which is the kind of the cockpit, and that just opens up on these ratchet joints here. You can see that. So that'll just open up about this far, maybe. Yeah, that's as far as it goes. So it's not super convenient, but it's good enough. And inside the cockpit there, you get seating for one minifigure, and then just some really extra details that I think they could have sat two minifigures in here, no problem, and it would have been really cool. But they wanted to give a lot of detail, which I also don't mind. Either detail or more minifigure space. So you got a coffee cup on this side, and what I'd assume is like a fire button or something on this side. Then these two joysticks here, and then there's also a really nice printed control panel right there. If you can see that in there. So yeah, that's the cockpit. Harder to see into it through this canopy piece here, but it's still pretty good. On the front of the sub here, there's these two very striking eyes of the squid, and these are another very flimsy piece. I'd wish it was a little bit stronger, because it's so tempting to just move around and play with, but these pieces and these pieces back here always fall off, because these are actually just connected with old Lego revolver pieces, if you can see that in there. They're just connected onto the main part of the gun there, and then those just pop in to the center part there. It gives it a little bit more posability on the eyes, but super, super flimsy. Overall, this is a really, really fun thing, and it's really great to play with all the possibilities of movement, and it's also a really great setup piece. It looks really, really nice. So now we'll move on to the last part of the set, which is the minifigures. So we'll start with the civilian, and this is a really nice civilian minifigure. It's super, super plain, but also I really enjoy it. So he's just got a little oar here. He's the one that would be manning the boat, but we don't need that to look at him. He's got this really simple, detailed robe piece, but I really, really like it, and it looks quite correct for his character. He also has some toe printing, which you don't see very often, of some sandals. He has just a little bit of back printing on the torso, just a little bit, but it's enough. It's a very simple minifigure, so it's enough to see just that little bit of back printing, to see they really put some effort into the minifigure. He has this really nice bun hair piece, which I like in this black color, and then he has the scared face, and he doesn't actually have an alternate face. So it's just him being scared all the time, which I'd like there to be an alternate face for some better like setup things in case you just want to build a Ninjago city with civilians, but whatever. It's still a really nice minifigure. So that's all the civilians you get in this set. The other three minifigures are kind of main characters. Well, one's a main character, the other two are just bad guys. So we'll look at the main character. Here is the Ninja J, and I always have trouble with these hat pieces. I never like them in two pieces because you can never get them off your ninja if you want to kind of move that around, and they always fall off so easily too. So his weapon, they took Jay's classic nunchuck and they made it a flail. I don't know why, but they did, and it looks cool. It's a large tooth piece on here, and in the light gray coloring, and just a small brown staff on the side. He has some also pretty simple detailing, a little bit of detailing on the midsection of the legs here, and then more detailing as you get up into the torso of an undershirt and kind of a robe, and then some sort of a belt to hold some things, and then that belt printing follows up on the back with some more detailing underneath it, and it looks pretty nice. The simple design of these minifigures is quite appealing. It's one of the things I really like about the Ninjago movie line minifigures. The only thing I have a problem with them is these headpieces. These hats, these cowls, however you want to call them, are so annoying, and you can never get them off. So this is his kind of basic angry face, and then I'll turn him around here, and then you also get a happy face with him too, which is nice. Two sides of the printing, and then here's again with the cowl on, his symbol up at the top there, and then that on the back. It's a nice minifigure. I like the simple design. It brings me back to the old days of Ninjago. I think I would have liked more, and I definitely would have liked more out of these hat pieces. So the next two minifigures are kind of the bad guys. They're Garmadon's fish people warriors. I really don't know. So here's the first one. This is Jelly. He pilots the Jelly sub thing, and he is a great minifigure. He comes with this fish hilt piece. They always come with these. This piece up here is great. It's based off of the Sandy piece from SpongeBob and SquarePants line from years and years and years ago, but it's a really, really nice piece. Hard to take off, but you get enough of the face in there to really get the detailing, and it's got so much detail on it of all the little jelly pieces, and I love that it carries down onto his torso, so it just covers up kind of the basic tank top shirt that these guys usually have. The same detailing can be found on the back, which is great, and some amazing leg printing on these guys. I always love the leg printing on these fish warriors, and overall, he's my favorite minifigure out of this set, definitely. So the last minifigure is another one of the fish warriors, and this is kind of a shark guy. Gets another one of these fish hilt pieces. You get so many of these in this line, they're not worth anything. But the really interesting piece is his headpiece. He shares pretty much all the same stuff with Jelly and all the other warriors, but this headpiece is just molded wonderfully. It's based off of a hammerhead shark, and you can really see that detailing in it. And it really carries all the way around. And this tank, unlike most of the guys, it's not actually attached to this neck bracket, rather. The neck bracket isn't really one. It's connected to the headpiece, and I just love this piece. It's great. And then this is just one of the firefighters' oxygen tanks on the back. So, overall, this is another really cool minifigure. And overall, this is another really good set. I definitely recommend picking this one up if you're a fan of Ninjago at all, or you just want a really satisfying build with good minifigures, good playability, and good posability. So, once again, I will get that 100 subscriber special out as soon as possible, but for now, I'd like to thank you all for watching, and I will see you in the next episode. Bye!